Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Ernitza, and I'll be the moderator of this online session on behalf of the MBA selection platform Unimai. The topic of today's webinar is the MBA program at Hkust, the business school of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, which is the leading global business school in Asia and is acknowledged for its forward-thinking, global outlook, and collaborative culture. If you'd like to learn more about the school, I have just pasted in the chat the official webpage of the Hkust MBA, as well as the school's profile on Unimai, where you can do 2 quick tests and see how well the school's culture fits your own values and how its MBA offering matches your individual criteria. Let us now welcome our panelists. On behalf of Hkust, we have Usi Lee, Marketing and Admissions Manager. And we have two of Hkust's alumni, Hector Arieta and Takuya Sato. We will start with an overview of the MBA program at Hkust and what makes it stand out. Then Hector and Takuya will share with us more about their academic experience and how it helped them enhance their career. Your questions are very welcome. So if you have any, please type them either in the Q&A section or in the chat box, and we'll take the time to address them at the end of the webinar. Now I would like to give the word to Usi to introduce herself and the Hkust MBA program.
Thank you very much, Sonita. So welcome everyone to join us at this joint session with Unimai. I'm Usalina, manager from the marketing and admissions team of Hkust MBA programs. Now allow me to share my screen. Okay, can everybody see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. So this is a quick overview of the following rundown. Firstly, I will give a very brief introduction of the MBA program. And after that, which is the core section of tonight, will be a chit chat with our alumni, Takuya and Hector tonight. And after that, we welcome you joining us for a live Q&A session if you'd like to know more about the life at Hkust MBA. So firstly, I'd like to introduce to you, as Sonisa briefly mentioned, we have 2 alumni from Hkust MBA programs tonight. The first one is Takuya Sato, and the second one is Hector. So Takuya is now actually with McKinsey in Japan, and Hector is actually now in Hong Kong, working with a private company, and formerly to that, he was actually with his family business. Okay, just a very quick introduction of the Hkust MBA program. So Hkust MBA, we cannot focus more on interdisciplinary MBA training. So we want to help you to build an imperative skill set that will help you to pursue your post-MBA career goal. These are the 3 focuses that we put: business foundation, technology for business, and sustainable leadership. For business foundation, you will go through courses and trainings on, for example, finance, consulting, management, communications, be they hard skills or soft skills. And coming to tech for business, for some of you, if you've already done some research, you may know that we place a strong focus on this because we believe this is the future of business. And sustainable leadership is something that we introduced this year. We react quite fast to the COVID situation, and also some companies are placing more focus on green initiatives. Let's look at the 2 key components of the MBA program. For this business tech, we actually have different courses. For example, some more generic artificial intelligence, fintech, some more specific ones. Maybe you'll find something on crypto, on blockchain. And to allow you to use these frameworks at work, we also have some courses such as managing change to teach you how to implement new ideas to your company in a more structured way. And I mentioned that we actually have a focus on green initiatives. That's why we have courses on green finance, ESG, to allow you to extend your choice on business technology in a green area. And coming to sustainable leadership, we actually want to raise the awareness of our MBA students to make business decisions not only on monetary benefits, but also on benefits for a better future for the whole society. That's why under this track, we introduce some courses such as sustainable leadership, sustainable as competitive advantage to help our students to rethink what will be the direction of your company in the future. So under this track, we do not only teach about some very forefront ideas, but also on frameworks such as the course that I mentioned about managing change. You'll be able to implement new ideas. So under this track, we do not only invite our internal professors to teach our MBA students, but also to invite some external trainers to teach so that you will learn some knowledge which is really at the forefront of this area. Okay, coming to an MBA, you may want to focus quite a bit on the network. In fact, we have alumni across different parts of the world, representing over 65 nationalities. So this picture shows a homecoming event we actually hosted before the COVID. We invite alumni from different batches to come back to the campus. In the MBA office, we have an alumni team to help connect alumni from different batches. That's why we also arrange a mentorship program. This is a program that we highly encourage our students to join, especially for non-local students. If you come to Hong Kong for a full-time MBA, it would be good to know some hands-on news, hands-on advices from your previous batches alumni on how they adapt to the life in Hong Kong, how they maximize their MBA. And more importantly, that would be one of the key connections to help you tap into the network here in Hong Kong. We also arrange an HKUST alumni virtual alumni hub that in the future, if you relocate to somewhere else and not in Hong Kong anymore, you will be able to stay still very active in this HKUST MBA community. For this alumni hub, you can actually look for possible connections based on, for example, industry, location. And in the future, if you relocate to somewhere else, you'll be able to use the map function to look for nearby searches, so which would help you to keep your network very active even if you leave the city. Okay, so after the MBA, coming to work, you will need to have a visa. The Hong Kong government actually arranges a very flexible visa policy, which is the EAN visa in short. This visa actually allows non-local full-time students to stay and work in Hong Kong for up to 12 months. So this is highly flexible, and this visa is on a renewable basis if you have a full-time job after the first term of your visa. Okay, coming to applying to the MBA, we offer scholarships for our full-time MBA applicants. For really elite applicants, top applicants, we actually have a MERS scholarship that covers up to 100% of your tuition fee. Of course, that would count on your professional background, your academic background, your interview performance, your possible contribution to the HKUST MBA community, and most importantly, your GMAT score. So for GMAT score, we actually accept GRE score as well. So either way, GRE or GMAT is mandatory for full-time MBA. Apart from the Murray Scholarship, we also offer different professional awards. As you can see on the screen, we hope to attract students from different cultural backgrounds or professional backgrounds to join the class. Okay, just a very quick overview on the application. Now we've put everything online. So basically you can complete your application in around 30 minutes time. It's easy and quick. So these are the 4 areas that you have to complete. And after this, you will enter the initial shortlisting stage. If we find your profile fits, then we invite you for an admission interview. Then after that, you will have to complete second half your application, including your personal statement. If you are considering to apply for the full-time MBA, please, that should be round 3 for the full-time MBA. The deadline would be on March 9th. And now because we realize that, the different countries, they are actually having different deadlines. So we are trying to make it a rolling interview. So it's easier for, everybody to arrange your certificates. Okay, I know we're still in the early stage of this event, but usually in this event, we try to allow you to join the next events as well. So we do have a virtual chat room with our full-time MBA students. If you wish to talk to our MBA students, in a very small group setting, this would be a good chance for you. You can scan the QR code here, or you can also find event details on our website. Okay, so this is just a contact us page. If you have any question, please feel free to get in touch with us. And we highly recommend you to sign up for one-to-one consultation for a CV review. Okay, just a very, very brief introduction of the program, because tonight the focus should be on Takuya and Hector. So Takuya and Hector, how are you today?
Hi.
Great. Okay, and Hector, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting us.
Thanks for joining us. Okay, so maybe for Hector and Takuya, could you let us know a little bit about yourself? Where you're from, what you're doing now, where are you now? Let our audience know a little bit about you. Maybe Hector first.
All right, I'll start. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. Hope that you find this useful, this webinar. But yeah, so I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Hector from Mexico. Obviously, my first language is not English, it's Spanish. And I came to Hong Kong to study my MBA back in 2019. I used to work for the pharmaceutical industry. I'll let you know more about my experience and background as we go on the interview and like sharing about my experience. But currently I'm working for Philip Morris International within their finance reduced risk products within the global team. So it's very interesting what I do there. And yeah, that's what I do in Hong Kong right now.
Thank you, Hector. Welcome joining us tonight. And what about you, Takuya? Can you let us know a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi. Yeah, thank you for joining. My name is Takuya Sato from Tokyo, Japan. And so I entered HKUST in 2019 as the same as Hector. And before MBA, I'd been working for Nomura Securities as a salesperson for 6 years. And after MBA, I joined McKinsey and Company this September. And now I'm serving for a client in energy industry.
Okay, thank you very much, Takuya, and thank you so much again for joining us at this event. So let's have let us understand more about you too. So you both already graduated, from the MBA program, and you're now working in Hong Kong for Hector and Japan for Takuya. Just a bit of throwback. Hector, do you still remember why did you wanted to do an MBA at that point of your career?
Yeah, so I was back in 2016. I was thinking about studying my MBA. Normally, for people in Latin America, the normal pathway is to go to Europe or Asia or the US to study. But for me, I wanted to explore more options globally. And as I knew that Asia was growing exponentially in terms of economic growth and opportunities here, that's why I started to look into different options here. And knowing that Hong Kong was an international city, that's where I started to do my research. So yeah, I wanted to explore different opportunities. I wanted to grow out of my role in the business company, and I wanted to expose myself to a global corporate environment. And I knew that the MBA would open doors for me in that regard. So yeah, that's why I decided to study my MBA.
Okay. And at that time, what were you looking at? Only Asia schools, or you were particularly looking at Hong Kong? What were your initial choices?
I was thinking of my main priority was to go for to an international city because I wanted a global and international exposure. So I was considering Singapore and universities in Australia as well, as I knew that Hong Kong, Singapore, and Australia could offer that for me. The rest of the region, I figured, could be a little more challenging in terms of culture and language adaptation. But yeah, so Hong Kong was my number one, was at the top of my priorities and ranking list to come and study my MBA.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Hector. And for Takuya's story was a little bit different because Takuya, you were already in Asia and you decided to take an MBA in Asia. Do you still remember why you wanted to take an MBA at that point of your career? What was your drive?
Mhm. So the beginning was I wanted to run my own business in the future, and at the time I realized that I thought I had enough skills for like soft skill I had, but I didn't have enough hard skills such as strategy development or analysis. I thought to run my own business as a manager or entrepreneur, it was necessary to have both soft skill and hard skill. So basically, I wanted to make a career change from salesperson who relies on soft skill to consultant or something that really needs hard skill, such as developing strategies and doing analysis. And that's why I came to MBA to make a career change.
I see. And yes.
And the next question was why Hong Kong or something?
Yes.
Yes. As the same as Hector, I wanted to pursue my MBA in Asia, and the reason why I chose Hong Kong was that I loved atmosphere of Hong Kong. Probably some of you guys may think about Singapore as one of the options. For me, I preferred Hong Kong's atmosphere. Like as my personal observation, Hong Kong people are more workaholic and working hard, as the same as Japanese people. And as a place to acquire new skill and study new things, I wanted to come to Hong Kong rather than tropical resort.
Yeah, so Hong Kong is more for people who are very hardworking.
Yes.
Did you only look at Hong Kong, or you were also looking at Singapore as well?
Yeah, once I considered Singapore and mainland China and also the US, and I talked a lot of current students and alumni, and I felt a fit with Hong Kong and HKUST.
So you basically appreciate the very progressive culture here, work culture here. Like people are very hardworking, dedicated. Okay. And Hector, what did you like about Hong Kong?
Yeah, I guess for me, Hong Kong is a land of opportunity. So if you're willing to get out of your comfort zone and work hard, then Hong Kong is a perfect place for you. There is a lot of people willing to help. There is a lot of opportunity, industries, roles available, and yeah, so it's increasingly interesting how quickly you can develop your career, how quickly you can grow professionally. It's very interesting to see how people evolve and the international culture, how everybody's talking about their jobs, their opportunities, how people are willing to connect you with other people as well. So yeah, it's very fast paced. And if you're not happy in one place, then you can easily move on to the next one. So yeah, Hong Kong is very exciting in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Hong Kong, like geographically speaking, is quite small. So I don't know if you agree or not. It could be quite easy to connect with people. You know?
Yes, compared to other cities where normally it takes a very long time to commute from one point to another. Here it's quite convenient, so it's so easy to meet new people because you're like everywhere at any time. So it's quite easy to commute. It's quite easy for people to agree to meet at some point. in some place. So yeah, it's very convenient.
Yeah, it's easy and convenient. I totally agree with you. Okay,
Yeah.
and so that's about, before you start your MBA, why did you choose HKUST and why Hong Kong? So during the MBA, I'm sure you were focused on something, and maybe during your way you pivoted to something else. Now let's look at more about your career now. Compared
Yeah.
to before your MBA. So maybe Takuya first, because you were from Japan in a more like a salesperson role. Now you're back to Japan, but with a big consulting firm. It's actually quite a big change in terms
Yeah.
of requirement of work, your work style, I'm sure. How did you evaluate the contribution of the MBA on your career switch? Of course, like the effort that you paid was really, really big to make that change. How did you think the MBA helped you on that?
I think mainly 2 points. So the first point was class and courses. I could run very basic knowledge and insight regarding strategy and businesses. That is really helpful. And actually, in consulting company, managers require that kind of knowledge as a kind of basic requirement. So without that knowledge I learned in MBA, I think I couldn't survive in consulting company. And it's the first point, class. And the second point was internship. I did an internship in Hong Kong and in a consulting company in Hong Kong. It was a really useful experience to apply the theories I learned during class to actual business situation. And it was a really useful experience to acquire Excel or PowerPoint hard skills. Thanks to that skills, I think now I'm somehow surviving in totally new environment.
Okay, so the MBA helped you survive in McKinsey.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure like from where you were to working in McKinsey, that could be quite a big gap on the hard skills, right? Do you recall any particular courses or trainings during the MBA that help you close that gap?
Okay, maybe 2 points. First point is kind of more like technical knowledge. And second point is kind of confidence or determination. So as for the first point, the knowledge or technical things, of course, course taught by Professor Doran was really helpful because he was from McKinsey. I remember the course applied M&A and strategic management and management consulting class. So I took all of those classes and it was helpful. And the second point, as a confidence or determination, because of this new environment in MBA, I had a lot of friends from consulting industries. And before MBA, I didn't have many friends who were working for consulting companies. And after having that kind of friends from all over the world, I started to feel probably I might do the same thing as them. And they gave me confidence. And also through internship, I could get kind of a determination to keep working on this industry consulting.
Thank you very much. Okay, so determination. Okay. So Takuya, you achieved your career switch goal, and Hector as well, actually, because Hector, you mentioned that you wanted to move from your family business to a private company, a corporate world. So you achieved it now. When you know look back on your MBA journey, what were the factors that helped you on that switch?
Yeah, so for me, I guess in terms of the role that I have right now, currently, I would say that the hard skill set that I had prior to the MBA, I already had it. So the MBA just helped me to navigate through new terms or new ideas into that. But what I would highlight the takeaways from the MBA for me. What quite made it was I developed my soft skills even further, so to communicate more concise and convey my messages more precisely in a corporate environment. And I would say that probably for Takuya, it's also the same situation in which um, providing recommendations and stepping up to being able to give new ideas and be creative in a business environment, especially in a fast-paced company as PMI that's always trying to develop new products and new ideas, new processes. You need to keep up and you need to be proactive. So the MBA, just the natural and the natural pace of it, like the studying and the work and the teamwork and all these skills that you actually develop during the program and you get to dive deeply. You bring this with you and you take them into the corporate environment as well, because you need to work with teams, you need to work with people from across the world, and that was a very good learning opportunity for me in the MBA.
And what were your favorite classes during the MBA?
I would highlight two. One was managerial communication with Professor Wang. She was very insightful and her feedback was very, very actionable. So every time that we had to, and it was very practical. That's what I liked about the class, that we had the opportunity to engage with our classmates and practice our speech. And she was always very precise in what she wanted us to work on. And you could tell that every week we would have we could grow and we could improve our skills. And the second class would be the consulting class with Professor Durad. It was very interesting to see all the to explore the consulting world and from coming up with a deck, how to be more attractive to the audience, to the actual logic and mindset and like walking through the process of coming up with a recommendation, right? So it's not only like building a nice deck, it's also like how to provide the best solution to a problem that you're addressing. So that was very interesting to learn in the MBA.
Yeah, actually, for the managerial communication, I received quite a lot of positive feedbacks from different classes, different MBA classes. Professor Wang, for audience on the line, she was a former executive from IBM, and she used to be, one of the very few female executives at her time. So she's so experienced, so good at communications. And of course, like for the consulting class, Professor Doran, I always hear about his class, his name. He's so welcome. He's like an all-time favorite for our full-time MBA students. And yes, he was from McKinsey, so he possibly know the frameworks from that firm, and he teaches our students. Okay, so we've gone through a little bit about courses and career changes. Let's come to something more relaxed, more about student experience. So now you both are working. When you think back, on your MBA journey, what were your most memorable moments? Anything you particularly enjoyed, or you wish you could go back to that point during your MBA? Can you share with our audience? Maybe Hector first.
Yeah, sure. So I would highlight that we studied our MBA during very challenging times, right? So I would say that my most memorable moment or experience during the MBA was the friends that I made, the friends that I found in the MBA, because we all went through the same situation. So we're all trying to figure out what to do next. So it kind of made us realize of how important it was to network and like we were all together here, but at the same time we're alone. So we had to rely on each other. And the second thing would be how HKUST stepped up to the challenge, because nobody was expecting what was coming at us. So we kept on going with our classes. We never had any like difficult situation with any professor. All professors were stepping up to the challenge. They were still lecturing through online classes, and even though it was hard and challenging, we all kind of adapted to it. So I feel like, yeah, like it was very supportive, and we got a lot of support from the professors, from the MBA office, from our classmates, and yeah, we were always having advice from people. So that was good. I would take away that.
Yeah, really good to know. Because I think like everybody is facing, some sort of like challenging time now, and I don't see the ending will come very soon. That's why when the program is very flexible and the student is very flexible, we really appreciate students who can adapt to different challenges and being very flexible, in different stages during the MBA. And I think you both were like so good at that. And Takuya, what about you? What were the most memorable moments during your MBA?
Yeah, actually, it's totally the same as Hector. So basically, we share the same experience and same as Hector. The biggest thing is friends in my class. As Hector mentioned, we faced a lot of difficulties, and after coming back to Japan, many people said to me that oh, in Hong Kong there are a lot of difficulties such as protests and COVID, but I'd say because of that tough environment, our batch united, and our batch needed to unite to survive, to make life fun. So many discussions, not only discussions, but also parties with friends. The most memorable experiences for me.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, because for audience on the line, they actually went through the batch who experienced both, the social unrest in Hong Kong back in 2019, and also the hit of COVID. So if they both can achieve their career change during that challenging time, don't be too worried if you are heading into an MBA journey anytime soon during the COVID. I'm sure you will find ways to develop what you want to develop. But Takuya, I think you also managed to went on an exchange, right?
Yes. As for exchange, I took the exchange for Dartmouth Tax School of Business course, and unfortunately for my batch, so far I think only for my batch, the exchange became kind of online exchange. So basically, I needed to take the US time classes from Asia. It was tough, but the positive thing for me was that because of COVID, our exchange program was postponed by half a year. And utilizing that half year, I could do enough preparation for job hunting and consulting company and case interviews. And thanks to that additional half year, I think I could pass the severe selection for my company.
Okay.
So my point is that so there may be some troubles if you came to MBA or foreign countries, but whether you could utilize it or not was totally up to your mindset.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. So, okay, coming to the end of this, chit chat session, I'd like to ask you both for your advice on, giving to the audience today or later on if they watch this video online. What advice would you give prospective MBA candidates if they're looking at, starting their MBA sometime soon? Do you have any advice for them? Maybe Takuya first?
Yeah, and at the same time, I think we have some questions in the chat box.
Okay.
So should I answer after this advice?
Yeah, no worries, because we have the Q&A section after
Okay,
this
so,
chit chat.
okay.
Thank you.
So regarding advice, I think the most essential thing is determination to achieve your career goal. I know many of my friends are working in Hong Kong, achieving their career aspiration. But some have already left Hong Kong, giving up kind of initial career aspiration. I didn't see any difference between those who got job in Hong Kong and those who couldn't get. But the only difference was, I think, a determination. So that's why admission essay is so important, I think. So if you want to come to Hong Kong, to have determination for your career goal.
Thank you. Okay, so determination maximizes the MBA journey. And Hector, what advice would you give our audience?
Well, I would advise everybody to definitely consider why they want to do their MBA. I would say that having a reason and a purpose, it's very important because at the end of the day, you want to leverage and you want to utilize what you're learning out of it, like what your learnings are into the corporate world or what you want to pivot your career into. So have a very concise purpose as to what you want to do with that tool. But other than that, keep open, keep your mindset open, keep your options open. So once you're into the MBA, start exploring not only what you were planning to do eventually, obviously work for that hard, but also keep your options open. So have an open mindset, an open, like an open view of what could come at you, because you never know what's out there, the opportunities that you can actually grasp. So yeah, just be open and eager to work hard.
Thank you. That's a very useful advice because from our experience, usually we see students coming with a very dedicated goal, but somehow the MBA opens a lot of different doors to them. And if they stay open, you never know, what would be the better option that comes ahead. So stay open from Hector and determination from Takuya. So to wrap up this Q&A, can I ask you a very quick question? Can you both use 3 words to describe your MBA journey? Whatever 3 words that you can think of. Maybe Hector first.
I would say international, exciting, and insightful.
Okay. Very interesting choice of word, insightful. That's
yeah,
very deep.
I mean, because it's not only about like what you learn; it's all about what you learn about yourself and the challenges that you're taking on, right? So it's like you get surprised of how far you can get. So it's very insightful in terms of what just surprise yourself. That's what
opens up your eyes. Okay, good to know. Thank you, Hector. And Takuya, what are your 3 words?
Friends, study, drink.
Okay, so they somehow make it a linear equation because after hot study, if you have friends, then you can drink a lot. Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Takuya and Hector. Really appreciate your, genuine sharing. So that, wraps up the chit chat session with the alumni. So Sonitsa, should I hand it over to you to move on to the next Q&A section?
Yes, actually, we have one question